This time, we're summoned into the dream for a reason. The reason cannot be to kill all the great ones because we can finish the game without killing most of the great ones, right?
Yeah, I don't buy at all the idea that the moon presence wants the other great ones dead. I don't think the great ones care about each other. They're just like, they're not trying to kill each other.
Mm-hmm. And our dream, our purpose, whatever, with the reason we summoned to the dream, is sort of put to end after we fight the wet nurse.
Yeah. What happens is when we rescue, I mean, it's complicated, the situation that Mergo is in, but like, Mergo is dead, but for all intents and purposes, we are rescuing Mergo.
Yeah.
So when we rescue Mergo from the wet nurse, that is the end of the hunt.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking too, because I heard people say that we're there to kill Mergo, and I don't think so.
Okay, it's one of those things that makes more sense if you look at, like, specifically Japanese beliefs about the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
Mergo has died.
Right. So we can't kill him. He's dead.
Mergo is, like, trapped kind of in purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
There's a belief that children who die before their parents have sinned and go to hell because they've caused grief for their parents. And they end up in a kind of like children's hell that looks very, very similar to, if you see images of it, to the Path to the Fishing Hamlet. It's like this sort of dark beach with these piles of rocks on it.
Mm-hmm.
So they go to this like children's hell, and the idea with, as far as I can gather, with Mergo is that Mergo has died. Mergo's ghost is trapped in hell. So what we're doing is we're quote unquote rescuing Mergo by basically allowing him to die.
Mm-hmm.
And like transcend hell and leave. So it's like Mergo's ghost is, or spirit or whatever, is caught by the wet nurse.
Mm-hmm.
It's being used by Mikolash and Mensis to try summoning Kos. So by defeating the wet nurse, Mergo is kind of released and is like allowed to pass on. But prior to that, Mergo was like this sort of restless ghost. And that's what we're doing by killing the wet nurse.
Well, you see, I feel better about that because I was always under the impression that we're not there to kill or hurt Mergo because Yharnam seems pretty grateful for whatever we're doing, so I'm pretty sure we're not hurting him.
Yeah, that's the thing, because when you defeat the wet nurse, if you go back down, Yharnam will bow to you and then disappear, so she's thanking you.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty psychotic. Can you imagine, like, oh, you killed my baby, thanks a lot.
Yeah. And, like, you hear her crying outside of where Mergo is being held. When she's standing there and praying, if you go up to her, you can hear her sobbing.
Yeah. Or, like, you know, when she first appears after you defeat Rom, she's sort of like, I don't know if she's praying or looking at the moon.
Yeah.
I felt like she was asking the moon presence to help her, you know?
Well, we're getting into sort of really convoluted stuff now, because when you meet Yharnam in the Chalice dungeons, she is praying to this altar. And you can sometimes get a variant of that altar if you do root dungeons, where the top part of that altar is removed, and underneath it is a giant hunter's mark written in blood. If you assume like it is literally the same altar with the top removed, because we can't prove it one way or the other, but looks like Yharnam is praying to the hunter's mark. Which, if the moon presence is the one that brands you with the hunter's mark, does that mean the hunter's mark is on some level the moon presence's rune? Like it's the moon presence's equivalent of the Erden runes that the moon presence brands you with. So does that mean Yharnam was praying to the moon presence?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Cool.
And also, when you meet Yharnam in the chalices, she's pregnant. Like, it's a slightly different model of her than the one you see projected in the Nightmare of Mensis, which makes me wonder if, like, is the idea that the moon presence is Mergo's father? Because we use she to describe the moon presence a lot, but, I mean, great ones kind of don't have sex as far as we know. Kos does, I guess. because Cos is pregnant, but then you have like Erden impregnates Ariana. Someone impregnated Yharnam.
Mm-hmm.
There was a theory that Erden was Mergo's father because you don't see Mergo, ergo Mergo is formless, like Erden. But Erden impregnates Ariana, and Ariana's baby is a little blob. So that's not formless. So Erden's kids, from what we gather, are not formless.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it kind of looks like based on the very little information that we have, that Mergo's parent might be the moon presence.